One of my most formative experiences almost didn't happen. When I was first asked to take on the role, I said no. I'm not qualified. I'm not sure I can handle it, or at least want to make the sacrifices necessary. Let me back up. My university had a long-standing student peer counseling group. A large group of student volunteers ran a 24/7 peer counseling center so that any student could call us any time to talk about anything that was bothering them. The volunteer counselors had some training, mostly about coaching our peers to solve their own problems while feeling heard and cared for. So in my third year of undergrad, I took the course that would train me to join this group. I wasn't even sure that I wanted to join, but everyone said that the listening skills that I would learn were useful in friendships and beyond, so I figured that it couldn't hurt. Then the following term, in the spring, I decided to volunteer, mostly out of love for the positive energy and values that everyone I met from the organization had. I still saw it as a small experiment, a way to deepen the skills that I had learned, become a part of a community that I was growing to love, and help a few people. Fast forward a couple of months, I had been staffing a quiet morning time slot, so I had still never actually counseled a real person who called us, just had a series of practices with other trainees. The way that this group was structured, the core of the leadership team were 4 live-in counselors. They were the ones who woke up to answer the phones overnight to achieve that 24/7 service, and also took on most of the leadership of the overall group. I was friends with a former live-in and always thought that it was an admirable role, but also a miserable one. Amidst all of the exams, projects, and one's own personal drama, the live-ins had to layer in the unpredictable sleep deprivation caused by answering calls at 3 a.m., not to mention all of the leadership work. Regardless, I assumed that my ambivalent curiosity about this role was irrelevant. I was 1 year from graduation, and I still hadn't counseled a single real person in need. Then came the announcement that one of the live-ins that we had lined up for the following year needed to change his plans. They had to fill the role ASAP. I still didn't think much of this because there were about 70 active volunteers, and pretty much all of them were more qualified than me. But the next day, one of the live-ins approached me and encouraged me to apply. I told her, "You must be able to find someone better." And she basically said, "Nope. Not everyone is up for the role, and it was so late in the year that folks who might have said yes had conflicting jobs, study abroad lined up, some kind of reason they couldn't do it." So I mulled it over. I had a great single room lined up for my senior year, down the hall from one of my best friends. I planned to enjoy the year sleeping well without a roommate, figuring out if I wanted to go to grad school, enjoying time with my friends, making some money as a teaching assistant, and putting my best foot forward in job interviews. It was the perfect plan. I would make the most of both the academic and social sides of my final year as an undergrad. And after about 2 days of reflection, I blew it all up. There was another kind of learning available to me, and another way of serving the campus. In my short time with that counseling center, I had grown to deeply believe in the service we provided. I knew that if I took on the role, it would become the central thing that I did my senior year, which was originally why I wanted to say no. But ultimately, it was why I said yes. I had finished my graduation requirements except for a few perfunctory ones, so I was uniquely able to give this role my all. And it's hard for me to even think about how things would be if I hadn't said yes. I learned so much about listening to and helping people, about leading a large organization, about supporting people who are new in a role, and about handling very difficult situations. I'm also extremely proud of the work that I did and the ways in which I was able to step up to carry extra burdens. I really don't know who I would be without the luck of that role opening up, without prior leaders seeing my maturity and potential, and without my discernment that some things are worth more than a good night's sleep. Maybe I would not be a manager at work, a role that I took on a few years ago and have been thriving in. Maybe I wouldn't have cultivated as many deep friendships. And maybe I would have a more narrow and self-centered outlook on the world. Sometimes you have to blow up your best laid plans.